We have all the parts we need to fix the ship, but we're slightly behind schedule.
How slightly?
6 to 9 years.
69 years?
No, 6 to 9 years.
Luigi, what happened to our fingers?
Haven't seen him since yesterday, bro. Darn you, Ansel!
Hi everybody! Welcome back to our classic feeling review. After a weird experiment and a few crossovers, I want to get back to the good old reviews. And what better way than with Mario—
Give me back my phone, you cheese-eating stereotype!
No! Not till you give me back my mandolin, you phone addicted fake blonde!
Excuse me? Hey, calm down now. I'm sure there's a peaceful way to resolve this.
Or a quiet one where I can go back to sleeping.
Ow! Ow! Put him on a plane! Bro, go in! Bro, go, bro!
Do any of you ever understand what he was saying?
No, not really.
My apologies, loyal viewers. A bunch of stuff happened and, well, I let them stay here.
So basically, everyone's good to unsub. SMP has officially gone full minions on us.
Shut up, Wade!
Okay, that is an offensive stereotype!
I told you 6 like 1,000 times. When I'm recording, don't interrupt me. I'm trying to make a review.
Oh, cool! What are you reviewing? Maybe that Mario movie you keep saying you review, but you never do.
Shh! No.
Okay, is it the Smurfs?
No! Never! Blech. It's Sparks of Hope.
Yahoo!
If you haven't seen my first Mario plus Rabbids video, please do. I mean, it's not required for this review, but I spent a lot of time on it. But basically my summation is that this was the biggest surprise on the Switch. No one expected two IPs that had nothing to do with each other and a gameplay format that neither of which were suited for to be good. Yet, somehow, not only was it good, it was miraculously good. So much so that Nintendo let David Salala's little passion project expand with a sequel.
We're doing a sequel,
Just like they do in Hollywood,
'cause everybody knows that the—
Wait, we can't keep singing this song. Disney will find this video too. I'ma keep it real with you, Chief. I never expected a game like this to get a sequel. Yes, I was very open to the idea, but I didn't think Mario plus Rabbids was ever gonna be a mainline Mario spin-off franchise. I thought it was just gonna be a one-time thing. But it was greenlit anyway, and while it won't count for the purposes of this review, it also brought along DLC that includes a complete lunatic,
But you're crazy,
and a very familiar face.
Woohoo! Is that, Sonic? I'm in an RPG with Mario and you ain't.
Sorry, am I still supposed to know who you are?
Boy!
The more trailers that came out for this thing, the more excited I became, because it looked like everything I wanted. There was just one problem.
What? The change of gameplay?
No.
The story or characters?
No.
Nintendo having a garbage online service and treatment of buying games online?
No.
It's 'cause you're back, ain't it?
Yes.
Penniless peasant!
Okay, look! It wasn't that I had absolutely no money, it's just that this game was coming out too soon before another game I was anticipating for a while, Sonic Frontiers, and I only had money for one. Luckily, I did what any self-respecting YouTuber does when they need cash. Help the homeless. Help the godforsaken homeless! So yeah, I begged someone to get the game for me. Thank you, Ad Horror Kid! Before you ask, yes, I did play Frontiers, and I do also want to make a review on that. But Sonic games age weird, and honestly, I'm scared of the Sonic fandom.
What?
Uh-huh, sure. Anyway, hey look, animated Mario movie controversy!
Where?
This is why I'm also not reviewing the other Mario movie yet. For now, as someone who has thoroughly enjoyed the first Mario plus Rabbids game, I wanted to follow up on that with this review of the sequel, Sparks of Hope. Because if I don't know who will.
Hey, I was thinking, since this game is about us, you think we could join? Yes!
I don't think that's a good idea.
Come on, it'll be fun.
Honestly, wouldn't mind joining.
Nuh-uh. No.
Please?
Okay, fine. Just don't be going nuts in here. Looking at you, Rabbid Yoshi. Well, folks, get comfortable, because we're about to travel the cosmos with the closest thing we'll ever get to Galaxy 3 as we take a look at Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope. So the game starts off, I'm assuming a few years after the first game, with everything fine on a normal day. The Mushroom Kingdom is flourishing, the sun is out, and a giant manta ray kills Rabbid Peach. It's not a normal day in the Mushroom Kingdom if a Peach isn't in danger. Jokes aside, the elevator pitch sum up of this story is that Mario and Co need to stop this giant entity named Cursa from spreading a substance called darkness, and using the power of these things called sparks to empower herself and destroy the fabric of the universe as we know it. And look, I'm gonna try to not give away too much since the game is still recent, but if you're having a hard time figuring out what Cursa is, here's your dunce hat. Go in the corner and think about your life. Like seriously, I called it on the first teaser trailer. In any case, much like the first game, this is a surprisingly interesting story. While yes, it can be boiled down as another Save the Galaxy story, it's the execution of it that elevates this plot. As our characters travel through 5 planets, they see how Cursa's forces are affecting everyone within these locations. Almost everyone in the game is affected by Cursa in one way or another, even some of the antagonists. This really makes it look like she has the upper hand in most everything, and being the common denominator of most of the issues at large does raise the stakes a bit, making the situation be shown as worse since we're shown her affecting a lot of people, as much RPGs do. Again, not giving away too much, but the way Cursa was created, it was just kind of a tragedy for someone.
I concur. Ditto.
It was still a great experience, though. I, for one, was pretty partial to Palette Prime. The desserts were great and the folks were real nice.
Honestly, that does help the story. The game really spent a lot of time crafting the characters, even the NPCs. Most of these guys are really likable. Like the French train conductor who simps for an AI.
I'm sorry. The what now?
The screw-up but lovable Rabbid Poseidon pretty much. And Lumberjack Big Chungus! It's just Big Chungus as a lumberjack! Dude!
No, he's got a point.
Oy. But yeah, the point is, yes, they are mainly Rabbids, but they are Rabbids with distinct, well-crafted, and likable personalities. No longer just the same one annoying guy in different clothing, and are treated more like how Koopas or Goombas were treated in Mario RPGs, like the Mario and Luigi series or early Paper Mario. Just another species in the Mario universe, with distinct characters within them that are easy to tell apart. Imagine if we had to pretend to be invested in a group of characters that act and talk and think the same and are usually irritating when by themselves. Who would think? Something that helps with this is their new voices. Yep, the Rabbids can talk now. For the most part. Now I have seen a few people not entirely like this change and some before it, and honestly, I'd be lying if I said I was 100% okay with it when I first heard they would do this, cause I was worried they would make them, well...
Wow!
Really, dude?
Like, actually, wow!
I'm taking offense to this!
But the complete opposite happened, cause this wasn't written by Pontac and Graf.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Honestly, I adore the fact the Rabbids talk. It helps make them stand out and be distinguishable, as well as making their personalities really shine. They honestly don't have voices just to make bad jokes. They have voices to elevate the script and make the emotional beats hit. Cause, yeah, the game can get like that. Like, don't expect Kingdom Hearts or even Sonic Frontiers level, but for what it tries to do, it's well written, believable, and pretty effective. It just wouldn't work if the characters at these moments were about just went
Wait, why did you want to rebuild the Soviet Union?
Wait, no! And when the comical moments do happen, the voices actually make these moments kind of funny. Because much like the last game, they now have other personalities than being annoying. And the voices help further so that a kind of joke can only come from a specific Rabbid, and the Rabbids can also interact with each other really well, as well as the Mario characters and Beepo, who is still such a mood! And they made him British as heck. I kinda grew to love it.
I know, Genie. I was trying to avoid getting sucked into someone else's problems again. Come on, read the room, would you?
I am, in fact, so marvellously British that I piss tea, poo curry, and sweat opium.
Literally all of those things people stole from other countries, though.
The British stole all of our stuff!
In addition, the Roomba now has a diamond to work off, called Genie, who is a mood returned to the mood.
Known for the warm orange and yellow foliage of its woodlands, its ambrosial pumpkin spice.
Also, pumpkin spice is overrated.
But Genie!
The two also partake in a sweet little mini arc, and I honestly really dig it. even if it does, let's say, borrow from a game that came out a month later. With that said, I do find it a bit odd that the Rabbids can talk and Nintendo still barely lets the Mario characters talk. I know that was a thing in Mario and Luigi or Paper Mario, but it's stuck out there too. Come on, Mario, just talk in the games. You did before. No! Well, why not? Why won't you just talk in the game? Because I'm under the contract to make me more marketable, okay?
Pretty sure none of us expected him to say that.
No, we all did.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, we recorded this review before Charles stepped down. I'm sad now. Resume the review! But as a whole, it doesn't bother me too much, as much like the last game, the Mario cast are still the usual likable, charming selves, just with new party members to interact with. Speaking of those new party members, you know how I keep saying the Rabbid characters are extremely well crafted and have likable personalities? Well, you better believe that applies to our playable Rabbids tenfold!
Except for my boy Rabbid Yoshi, who isn't in this game along with normal Yoshi. I mean, what the heck, Ubisoft? That was the best boy, and you removed him like that? Like trash? I will get back at you all for this. I'll get my Rabbid Yoshi Club to create combustible rubber ducks to burn your house!
Right! I mean, feel like it.
Fair. I don't feel like doing things either. Like, figure out how I got here.
But yeah, our main group of Rabbids, new and old, are just so likable and charming, which are adjectives some people who grew up in the early days of Rabbids would never think could be used to describe them. Like, we live in a universe where dogs can beat Smash's creator, Disney CGI can look like Shark Boy and Lava Girl, and the Rabbids can have character arcs and interactions and be likable? What is this timeline?
Hey man, all I'm hearing is, you like us.
Well, yeah, but
Aww, you like us.
Quick, who's the favorite?
It's a me, isn't it?
I don't play favorites.
You have to, it's a review. Gotta be honest. So let's rip off the band-aid before getting to the good stuff. What is my worst trait?
I don't want to play this game.
I'll own up to it.
No, I'm not doing this.
I'm asking for it, just get it done.
Alright, fine, should we start with internal or external?
Get out!
This is my studio.
Get out!
Look, I didn't get kicked out of my own studio. I just think it'd be better if I did this section of the video without them hearing. Shut your squid! Anyway, since we're on the topic, we might as well start with Rabbid Peach. Yes, I did say in the last video that I wasn't exactly a fan of this character, and while I may still sort of feel that way about her in Kingdom Battle, in terms of Sparks of Hope, I honestly like her unironically now, and I think that's because of the voice they gave her. I mean, don't get me wrong, she still has cringe lines like,
It's been real.
or,
Hashtag healing journey.
but for the most part, there's just something about her Harley Quinn-esque voice that really gives this character a new view in life. With her,
Hold still, will ya?
or,
Sleepy time.
and
Thank you. Next.
her personality now has a lot more spunk, sass, and fun to it compared to the last game where it was just blahs and selfie. And it gets better with her interactions with Rabbid Rosalina, but we'll get to her later. Point is, she's pretty good here.
Why is there an $800,000 charge on my credit card?
Daisy, I'm a material girl.
Get out of my house!
Rabbid Mario's back, and he's being voiced by Lou Albano.
Hey, Mamma Mia! You're gonna turn into a Goomba!
Actually, that's Rayman's voice actor doing that. I just think that's kind of funny. But yeah, Rabbid Mario is undoubtedly the funniest character. He is an absolute riot. They seem to be doubling down on that imposter syndrome that was implied in the last game, with him trying to make himself look as cool, if not better than the OG Mario, as well as his fellow Rabbids. Also, he's still a boss on his not banjo. I'm sorry for saying it was a banjo in the last review, but he still plays it like a boss. But yeah, despite being kind of a tryhard, he's super cool, fun, and a delight of a character in and out of his tryhardness.
Let's not get cocky. Except to me. That's hot. Oh, don't try to drunk it. This is the greatest moment of my life.
Even his sympathy towards Edge is just super funny, man. I can't help it.
Every time you nearly fainted at the sight of my enormous biceps while I fought impressively by your side. Ah, well, if it isn't the Simps.
Rabbid Luigi now looks more like a Rabbid Luigi. Cause, let's face it guys, in the last game he was just a guy in a sweater and a cap. If that hat didn't have an L in it, he couldn't be seen as a Rabbid Luigi. Okay, but aside from the design upgrade, I love this little cinnamon roll.
Da 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 da! Team Jump Yo! Warriors of Mario!
now.
He's just a happy breakdancing little goober, and I love the positive vibes I get from him anytime I see his animations or when he interacts with other characters. He's just a cute and lovable little hipster and dope at the same time.
People look at me and say, ah, the skunkly. People look at you and say, nah, he ugly.
I never said that.
Well, you did now.
However, the star of the show is undoubtedly the newcomer, Edge. And yeah, what else can be said? Edge is pretty cool. Not just because of her sword and her voice and her design, though, don't get me wrong, those all help.
Keep 'em coming. Queen of the mountain. Can't hide. Blah.
But genuinely as a character, she's quite interesting, and a good, as I said in the last video, foil to most of the other characters around her. Not to mention her backstory is just as interesting and fun to unfold the more it's slowly brought up. Again, nothing world-shadowing, but still very interesting. If I were to simplify it, she's pretty much a Final Fantasy character for someone who has yet to play Final Fantasy, but still wants a feel for it. Talk about Edge of the Midnight.
Yeah, but seriously though, Hex friend, my foot Hedge.
I can tell you about 20 different ways with my bare paws alone.
And last, but most definitely not least, is Rabbid Rosalina. I freaking adore her. Like you don't even know! Shall I describe her? She's pretty apathetic and tired most of the time. And by most of the time,
Can we decide this after a nap? Finally. Cool, I guess. Hate cardio.
I mean like 90% of the time. Roughly estimated.
Hey, how you doing? Well, I'm doing just fine. I lied, I'm dying inside.
But at the same time, despite the blank slate, it's like within, there's this small bit of a somewhat happy little kid wanting to come out all that, depression.
Whoa! Hardy-dar! Neato Speedo!
He's so cute and blushy.
And despite her jadedness, she genuinely really cares about some people, even before meeting Mario Co. And with Mario & Co., she ends up bonding with them and really caring about them, even if she shows it in her own unique way. Even with the attitude of not caring about most things, she's very protective. The reason why she's even on this adventure is because she's looking for someone she cares about a lot. She's just adorably lazy, super sweet, and also super relatable. She's just amazing. I can't get enough of this little bunny Rosie. Hopefully they'll allow me to go back inside soon. Wait, is the camera still on?
Are we gonna let him in anytime soon?
No.
He needs to finish his video, and it's his studio.
I don't care.
He just said he thinks you're cool.
Let him in.
Narc!
You are so vain.
Mario's doing the Chris Pratt thing. Game bad. Coming to get your love. Coming to get your love.
You're not that good a singer.
Once again, the gameplay of Sparks of Hope is a tactical RPG, where Mario and Co have to hide behind bricks and shoot the opposing Rabbid forces. And also some of Bowser's minions. Goomba Massacre! Just like the last game, it's very skill-based for a game with the Rabbids, but that's about where the similarities between this and the first game end. Because this game is really different from the first installment.
Hey, you can't expect us to just do the same thing again and again and again and again.
We want to mix it up. Keep you on your toes.
Yeah, ain't that right, Bowser?
One of the first things you'll notice, because it's the main thing advertised, is the ditching of the grid-based format for some more open movement. You can move semi-freely for almost as long as you please. Although, to keep things skill-based, once you do your main attack, you're locked in place, and you only have 2 action points. And no lie, you do sacrifice himself from the last game for this new gameplay style, but I honestly kind of prefer this. Notice in Kingdom Battle, but with this new format, it gives me more options to experiment and trial, because I'm not bounded to one place once I move. I can inch around, backtrack, try what cover will work better and what won't, and no misclicking leading me to being out in the open getting pummeled. And with me being so unsure most of the time, I can at least check to see if what I'm going to do will work before I royally mess up. And I completed this on hard mode. And 100% completed it!
You really need to touch grass.
I just did. In any case, there are even some way around these side effects. Like Mario shooting in midair will still allow him to move after landing, and Rabbid Mario can be upgraded to move after attacking. And if not that, some items at the shop can grant you after attack movement. Plus, golden prisms can grant more action points, although those require some hard giant fights. God, that giant depleted fight gave me a hard time. I pretty much just had to stock up on cooldown clocks and keep putting the thing to sleep with Rabbid Rosalina over and over. I'm ashamed, but alive! The point is, for me at least, this new format works like a charm, and allows for a bit more experimentation with gameplay instead of dealing with a mistake. I will say, however, they did unfortunately remove some things like secondary weapons like the hammer or the sentry. Plus, the weapons themselves don't have elements anymore. Still, that's all swapped out for an upgrade system where you get stronger the more fights you do. There's a progression system that isn't bounded by a skill tree as an RPG does, so it feels like you're making more progress yourself. The skill tree itself does return, and it can grant you some epic powers for your characters. Plus, if you're not happy with something, you can always refund it anytime you want, even right before a fight starts, and honestly, I'm really happy about that. Plus, this all brings something I personally find a bit more crucial when it comes to a game like this. Diversity. Again, no diss to Kingdom Battle, but there are quite a few characters that share the same weaponry, so as such, some characters were left in the dust. Here, no two characters share something in common, and they're all for a different playstyle. Mario remains an all-arounder with multiple dash, stomp, hero sights, which remain awesome, and dual blaster weapon attacks that really rack up damage and make solo combos, much like how he is in Smash. Rabbid Mario, on the other hand, gets the job done with some nice punches to the face with the Dukes, doing massive amount of damage, along with a dash that still explodes on impact, and a counter attack to get back at your enemies. Rabbid Luigi can hit like 7 targets. You get 1 in rage, you get like 6 more in a chain attack, and that after you depower them all. Edge flings his sword like a boomerang, ignoring 50-50 cover entirely, and gets 2 hits on a line of enemies. If that's not enough, her technique gets to hit not just 1 person in range, but everyone near her too. Rabbid Rosalina ignores cover altogether and just blasts bricks to death with her Gaboomer to get her enemies. No one is safe from this adorable little plushie, or her dash which can put people to sleep, or her technique which can put many people to sleep. And by the way, asleep enemies take 30% more damage, and Luigi's sniper skills got buffed to the max. The farther he is, the more damage it does, and he can do so much damage, especially on the high ground. And don't even get me started on Steely Stare, man. It can go through cover when upgraded, and does more damage with more range. Look at this range! No one is safe from this man!
Watch out, here comes my arrow that flies super far, and it kills everyone. Watch out, here comes my arrow. Green arrow sucks. Luigi #1.
Okay. That's 2 Guardians of the Galaxy references. What I'm basically trying to say is, everyone is awesome at what they do. And there's so many ways to mix and mash your team of 3 to bring down the house. For me personally, if you're looking for more cautious but beyond effective gameplay, the type I use most, go for the Mario Bros. And Rabbid Rosalina. If you want to get up close and personal and attack multiple people, go for the Rabbid Mario Bros. And Edge. And if you just want to go in glass cannon and deal with the consequences later, go with the Peaches and Bowser. I realize the kind of problem with that team formation. Now I know what you're thinking.
But SMP, if this new gameplay style is as cool as you say it is, why do the weapons not do elemental attacks like in the last game?
Well, that, my good friend, is where the sparks come in.
I said what you scripted me to. Can I go home now?
Sorry to say it, but you're the view magnet. You are bounded here.
Who says you, CPR?
The game uses these Rabbid Luma things, called sparks, to do all sorts of crazy things. Much like the last game, there's things to burn, keep enemies in place, vamp, and my thing of bounce, which is now splash. And I just gotta say, I love that you hit a person with splash once and the splash for the whole turn. Like, if an enemy splash, wham on them, they'll be off the ledge in no time. But sparks can do even more than that. They have earthquake versions of most elemental attacks, as well as versions that rain it down. You know, just in case you weren't OP enough.
Not that I needed it, you know.
Didn't you get knocked out that one time because of a Wild Claw surviving the attack at like 14 HP?
Do you want to explode?
Alright, settle down you two. We don't need another fight. They can even do things like turbocharge, heal, revive, fortify, attract enemies, summon enemies by your side, summon Rabbid Kong, and even make you go ghost. I think it goes without saying how useful these little guys are. And the ability to mish and match characters with sparks is just beyond fun. There's even a system with enemies where some are weak to specific things, but some are resistant to other things. And if you play your cards right, all this can lead to some of the sickest combos.
Weak, old, unrefrigerated pie. Dumb ways to die.
It's just super rewarding. You really gotta use your 4 hyper-intelligent brains for this, as there's a lot more strategy needed for this game, and it will catch you if you slip up, and that just makes victory all the more rewarding. I also like how diverse the battle types are. Yeah, you got your classic beat-alls and reach areas, but you also got defeat X amount of this specific enemy type, kill the eyes, blow up the dam, and survive.
I'll survive! I will survive! Hey!
We apologize for reminding you this movie exists.
Thank you, Rosie. But by far, one of the best factors is that there's no escort Toad, thank God! Not to sound narcissistic, but I really feel as if they fixed those issues I had with Kingdom Battle. Mario isn't locked onto your team for the entire game. When you're forced to play as a new character for boss fights, you don't have to sacrifice another, and the hub worlds are so much better. None of the puzzles are god-awful or annoying, and if anything, they're just short, quick problem solvers. Though those secret areas do sometimes push it. And the hubs are filled to the brim with optional side quests and puzzles to do, as well as things to collect and NPCs to chat with, giving a lot of grinding potential and replayability. The planets themselves are also way more open for exploration and radiate a lot of charm, which is amazing hub worlds.
So, it's perfect, right? You've been saying nothing but positives. It's perfect.
Well, no, not really.
What?
Come on, guys, there's no such thing as a perfect game. Let's be honest, every game has its flaws. And in this game's defense, I really don't have a lot of flaws with it. I love all the new and awesome stuff it does. Except the boss fights. Excluding the final one, which is awesome. But yeah, the other bosses really aren't as good as the last ones. Those were a bit more memorable and felt like a final fight for that section. Here, there are really only 3 bosses, and I don't know if I'd call a bigger version of an enemy and popping a Wiggler's pimples as a boss fight. And I'm not at all dissing Midnight or Daphne, they have awesome designs and I had fun with their bosses, but I didn't feel like they were a capper for their respective planets the way Rabbid Congo the Phantom did.
Come back! Were you ever a thing, Rayman?
And while I personally think the Ice Golem is a boss that I like less because it's so boring, in my opinion, Bedrock has to be one of the worst bosses I've played in a Mario game. The worst Mario boss ever! Okay, as always, I'm exaggerating, but geez, this one really did get under my skin. The way you beat this Minecraft looking things, you have to bait it into these bombs. But if you mess up even a little bit, it either resets and you have to bait her again, or she gets you and cuts like half your damage. And while none of the enemies here are peekaboo annoying, there are still enemies anywhere that you got to deal with on top of Bedrock, and they hit hard. And you can't even get out of this stupid gimmick because nothing you do to her will even make it flinch. She hardly takes damage the normal way. And the worst part of it all is, you're locked with Bowser on this one. And I'ma keep it real with you, Chiefs, I don't think Bowser's that great in this game. His Mecha Koopas are useful, but for my taste, the Bowzooka is way too low range and somehow always gets stuck between something. He just doesn't suit me at all. This fight was agony, for God's sake, it took me like 10 tries to complete it. Who thought it was a good idea?
And then there's Chunky, he's dead.
Why we play this?
It calms him down when he's mad.
Anyway, despite that, the gameplay is just ambitiously amazing. I like how they used the first game to see if people would be down for this kind of style, and then went full out for the sequel. It's just amazing. And I'm so glad this game is getting the attention it deserves. Ain't that right, Activision? Why did people go out and get the same darn Call of Duty game for the 22nd time? It just has 2 in the title! What a load of shit!
He's dead. Chunky's dead.
Grant Kirkhope returns for this game, and that's all you need to know because this music slaps.
That's still a hut, you know.
I'll freaking do it again, you son of a lollipop.
Guys, please no. But this time, the great composer isn't alone, as it brings along a guy who worked on Halo Infinite, Gareth Coker, and a woman named Yoko Shimara. I'm sorry if I pronounce this wrong. Look, I don't know if you heard of her. She's well known for a specific series you may not have heard of. It's called Kingdom Hearts! My comparisons to you and a Final Fantasy character really hold up, don't it?
What?
Nothing. This soundtrack is awesome, and you can hear the Kingdom Hearts, honestly. It's just musical gold. These 3 should compose music more often. And with great music comes great visuals. And yeah, they look great. Each planet looks so unique and charming, and the models themselves are a huge step up from Kingdom Battle. And I would like to take back what I said in the last review. The Rabbids here either look super cool or super adorable. Yes, including the Sparks, who I've gotten used to. But maybe it's because in this game I've seen much uglier.
Say the line, MegaMan!
Ha!
Gross.
Yay! Wait, what'd you say, New Less of You?
Nothing. Never let them see that video, they will be angry. Anyways, I also love how much more cinematic the animations are. They really put their effort into making this adventure seem as grand as it can be. Props to the animators, man. I also really like how much more personality each characters have. From their idols, to their techniques, to their summons, to their victory poses. They're also fluid and expressive. Though I will say the frame rate can dip at some points with cutscenes, but it's not that noticeable and only idiots will get angry about that.
Like you said.
Peach, didn't I tell him not to go nuts? Speaking of, I guess my one other small flaw in terms of presentation is that Beepo and Genie speak out their full text boxes, but the Rabbids only say like the first word, and the Mario characters just grunt. I get why, maybe they want to get people used to this before going all on the third game, because there's gonna be a third one. Right? But I personally just wish they went all in with that, but it's a minor nitpick. Speaking of, this game sure has comedy, and it's good! Come to think of it, I actually don't remember any lowest common denominator butt or toilet humor. All the jokes are very character-based, thanks again to the voices, and most of them are effective. And the ones that aren't, at least don't make me want to throw myself out of spacecraft. To put it bluntly, this game is just as creative as the first game, and if the last game was a love letter to Mario platformers, this one is a love letter to things like Galaxy, or more importantly, the Mario RPGs, and it really does have that same feel, not just in the presentation. As a whole, Sparks of Hope does do a lot of things that I can understand may not be everyone's cup of tea. From the different gameplay, the different settings, the different portrayals, and a lot of stuff like that. And even to me, there's some things I have to swallow, mainly that stupid bedrock fight! It's a rock! But this is my review, and in my opinion, the game as a whole doesn't just work, it soars. The story is investing and interesting, the gameplay is fun and rewarding, and the presentation is cinematic and epic. I've heard a lot of people say this is the next sort of Mario RPG series, or Mario and Luigi live through this. And I can't blame them. Everything about it really does seem like a spiritual successor to early Paper Mario or Mario and Luigi. But it's still daring enough to be its own thing and unlike anything you've ever played. And it's a Rabbids game for God's sake. And you know what? I'm just gonna be frank and say it. You know how in Shade Midnight's collab I said 3D World is my favorite non-RPG Mario game? This is currently my favorite Mario game ever. What? Okay. Now keep in mind, I have not played every single Mario game. In fact, there are some beloved ones that I do not have access to, and when I play them, chances are they'll dethrone this. However, what really elevates this one above anything else I played from Mario at the time of writing this is just the boldness of it. When you think of the Mario series, it's more of a surprise to hear when a game is bad, but the concept of not one, but two Mario plus Rabbids games sounds ridiculous and a guaranteed failure. But not only does it works in a fresh new way that Mario needed at this point, making Rabbid characters that I've grown to absolutely adore, and gameplay like no other. Cause really, there's nothing quite like Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope. Even within its own genre, either the Mario and Rabbids series. It's bold, unique, and ambitious in every aspect, and personally, I appreciate that so much. An idea that sometimes can sound like the dumbest and most appalling thing in the world, can end up turning out some of the most rich, fresh, creative, and lovable things you've ever seen. So with all that, I gladly give this game a 9.5 out of 10. Go check it out and possibly have the most unique experience with Mario in quite a long time. This is the song that runs under the credits. These are the credits, so this is where it goes. Has nothing to do with what I made, so we say, hey, 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 hey.
Change it up a bit. His name is SMPTHT, blow like fluff and TNT, deity of tales far and wide like home and D&D. Dragon of the story is the one who writes the tickets, and his image is making all the crickets sound like pickets. There's no word about the make-believe, hope that all the hate receive won't result in quitting, cause we know that we in fact receive. Challenge all the challenges, I gotta never stop, never damage the equipment, so no aerodynamic drop.
Yeah, now this is more like it.
Those
rabbit things.
What are you doing here? And where's Princess Peach? And the toads? That is her plane if I remember right.
We killed them and ate their livers.
Did she taste peachy?
Haha! Gotcha, didn't I? Just kidding, Fox Boy. She's fine.
Or just on vacation. So, the Sonic guy we heard about.
The one and only.
I see.
Blah, 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 blah.
Hey, what are they saying? What are they saying about me?
Blah.
So, you guys are cool, right?
Actually, yes. If I can inform your naive self in a way you may get.
What?
Here we have, looks like she would kill you, but is actually a cinnamon roll. Looks like a cinnamon roll, would probably kill you. Looks like a cinnamon roll, and totally is. Looks like he would kill you.
Let me guess. Is actually a cinnamon roll.
Oh, no, 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 no. He would kill you.
Oh man, not the camera. Wanna just fix that?
Well, I mean, I guess that's one way to end the video. Jeez, this is gonna cost a fortune.